everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today's video is going to be an update on my Project 10 uses. So that is a project I do here on my channel where I pull in some single shadows from my collection and try and use them 10 times. Just give them a little bit more love. I tend to neglect my single eyeshadows a lot more than my palettes. So I'm gonna show you the color story. We're gonna talk about rollouts, how much I've used them, etc. So if that all sounds good to you, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't yet. I would love it if you stuck around. But with all that, we're just gonna get started. All right, if you've been subscribed, you probably know by now that I have been traveling. Background's gonna change. I'm not gonna dwell on it because I feel like I have to say it every video and it probably gets a little bit repetitive if you watch my videos often. So for this project, I've been having a lot of trouble figuring out how I wanted to do my project for specifically my single eyeshadow collection. I started off trying to hit pan, and then after that I had a pretty high usage goal, and then I decided like I am a really slow panner. I don't hit pan on eyeshadows that often. And I kind of want to rotate through my collection a little bit more, figure out what I like, what I don't like, maybe declutter, pare down my single collection. So I just decided to take the pretty classic Project 10 uses and make it just about my single collection. So it's pretty straightforward. I'm going to take 2 mattes from my singles collection, 2 shimmers, and then one kind of single pot like the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize or a ColourPop Super Shock, something that has its own component. So I'm working on 5 shadows at a time. Goal is to use them 10 times and then they roll out, we pick out new ones. So last month I actually had a complete refresh. So all of these shadows have only been in for the last month. And I'm happy to say I have one rollout, only one. I was hoping for a little bit of a better result, but 1 is better than 0. So let's just go over these. I have all of them here. So this is my 2 mattes, 2 shimmers. We'll go over my single in just a second here, but let's go over each one and then talk about the usage. So here is the Colorstory all swatched out. We're just going to start top to bottom here. So the first one that I have is Give Me Glow That's So Taupe. Here's what it looks like in the pan here. It's just a pretty good mid-tone neutral brown. I wouldn't say it has, maybe leaning a little bit cool. I actually am wearing this on my eyes today. I used it a total of 11 times, including today, so I did hit my goal. This is going to be my only rollout today, but we'll get through the progress on the rest of these. Really like this shadow. If I can't roll out a brown within a month, I just feel like I probably should be rethinking my project here. So this was really easy. Like I said, I'm wearing it today. I actually kind of used it as a base for one of these other shadows, but a lot of the times I would use it as liner. I would use it to deepen up the outer crease. I quite like this shade a lot. So that will be staying in my collection, and I'll be pulling a new matte shade later on. Then the second matte that I have is Sydney Grace Perfect Storm. So this is what it looks like, and I was a little nervous when I pulled it in, I'm not gonna lie, because blue is not typically a shadow I wear a lot of. Quite honestly, I don't know why I purchased this, but I did, and I used it 2 times. 2 times, which I was hoping at least like 5, a little bit like halfway there. 2's not that great, but for the amount of times I wore makeup last month, I'm not that upset. I do actually like this shade more than I was anticipating because it kind of has like an element to gray. It's not super pastel. It's actually kind of, Perfect Storm is the perfect name for it because it is kind of like this stormy blue color. And I actually really enjoyed it. I did at least luck out with one of my shimmer shades. So this is Shine by SD, and this is Lorelei. You can see here it has like a blue to silver. It has like a pink with like a gold and silver flip to it. It's hard to explain, but a blue to pink flip. So I paired these pretty much together every time, which was 2 times. So I used the shade 2 times as well. I think that I will get more. I don't know if I'll have it rolled out by next month, I'm going to be honest, but I at least have an easy way to do it. It's just, am I feeling brave enough to wear blue that day? But this at least helps tone it down. This Shine by SD shadow actually came from a 6 pan that I had, which was it was either the Dawn or the Dusk palette. I put it up last time. And I do also keep any of like my palettes that are an all shimmer palette, for example, like the Flower Beauty Desert Jungles, Desert Lights. I keep those in my single collection and with my singles because that's how I would use them. So I just pulled it out of the palette. It actually wasn't magnetic, so I had to rip it out, which I'll see how I need to put that back when the time comes. But I'm at 2 uses, 8 more to go on both the Sydney Gray shade and the Shine by SD. And then the last shade that I have in the singles is another Sydney Grace. So this is the shade Always Yours. Here's what it looks like. So on my eyes today, I'm wearing this all over the lid and then this topped on top with a little bit of my single shadow that we're gonna talk about next. And this one I did manage to use 5 times. So I am halfway there on this. Sydney Grace has, I wouldn't say like the most typical kind of indie like shimmer as far as popularity. You have to know what you're getting. Like, it's very different from an indie shadow is what I'm trying to say. It's not textured. It's very smooth. It's a little bit more metallic. You're not going to have as much dimension, but these shimmers pack a punch. They're very lovely. I actually quite like them a lot. As long as I like the tone, I've decluttered some of them in the past, only because I've recognized that it's not a shade I'm going to reach for. But this one's quite nice, and especially using it as a 1 and done, I really, really liked it. Well, a 2 and done because I used the matte as the base a little bit. Then my single here is the Artist Couture loose pigment, I guess, in the shade Epiphany. And let me swatch this out so you can kind of see it. It is such a pain in the ass. Let me just tell you. Here's what it looks like. You can see it's very shimmery, very glittery. And the reason I say it's a pain in the ass is because it's very chunky. I wish you could see more. Let me see if I can make a mess here, but it smooths down once you put it on, but like you can see here, it almost looks like straight glitter when it comes out, and then it kind of flattens out and becomes like a really nice shimmer. So I am wearing this on top of Always Yours just to give a little bit of extra sparkle and get another use out of it. This one I've gotten some pretty good usage on. I've actually used it 7 times out of the 10. So I only have 3 more to go on this. Not too bad. It was easy for me to use this as like an inner corner shade, but you know, quite honestly, it was easy to use, but it caused a lot of fallout. Easy to use is like, as far in terms of easy to reach for. That's what I'm trying to say. So it's easy to reach for, just a pain in the ass for application. So I don't know how much I love it. I'm going to get my 3 more uses and just see. It's hard to pick up on camera, but it does give like a really pretty glitter. Again, like I'm wearing it on top just for like some extra sparkle. So I don't know. I'm like on the fence about this still, if I still want to use it and keep it or not, but I will at least get my 10 uses before I make a decision. So this was this month's color story. Now is time for the fun part where we get to roll in a new shade for the Gimme Glow That's So Taupe. So I have my Tiny Decisions app pulled up right here. I am actually just going to pop up the screen recording here just so I can kind of see quickly what pops up. I do have them all blacked out for what I already pulled, and I have Gimme Glow at the Beach. Gimme Glow and Sydney Grace are the 2 most amount of shimmers or singles that I have, excuse me. So I'm gonna go find that shadow. I believe it is a cream shadow, and I will be right back to show you the new color story. At the Beach is not a cream, but it is pretty dang close. It is like, it is basically my skin tone right now, a little bit darker. and a little bit more cool. But here's what the new Colorstory is looking like. I don't think I'll have any problem getting my 10 uses out of this. I did accidentally get my nail in there when I was getting it out of my Z palette, but I think I'll have this rolled out, definitely. My goals, I think, for this next month are going to be to get out this matte just really quickly, breeze through that. For sure, get my other 5 uses on Always Yours and get this one rolled out. Then for the blues, what I would like to get, like, let's be reasonable here, is to use it. Let's see, I have 2 uses. At least, like, let's get 1 more use, at least 3 more uses. So get up to 5 uses on these colors, but that's like bare minimum. Like, that's where I should be bare minimum. Like, if I really want to push myself, I'm going to say 4 uses. So that way I'm at 6, and the following month I'll only have 4 uses again to use it. So that way it's kind of like half and half. I think that's maybe a little bit of a better goal. So minimum 3 uses, hopefully at least 4. And then for the Artist Couture and Epiphany, I would just like to get the last 3 uses out of this, roll this one out. So next month, hopefully I have 3 rollouts and then 2 that are close to being finished, but that is my project 10 uses. Here's my old story compared to my new one. I mean, I have a type, so like, I wish I could say that the color stories are gonna vary a lot from month to month, but I buy the same thing over and over and over again. So it's very similar. I mean, we have another brown, but luckily that'll kind of make it easy for me. It's definitely a summer color at the beach. Love it. So wish me luck. If you are also doing Project Pan, I would love to know down below whether it's just a normal kind of rolling Project Pan or if you're doing eyeshadows and you can actually hit pan on eyeshadows. I envy you, but I'm so light-handed with makeup that this just makes more sense and it keeps me a lot more motivated. So let me know if you are doing that down below so I can support you. But after this is where I'm going to leave you all. I hope you're having a great one, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.